Zorro. We got big cousin Mikey J. We got AU from the Couch Steelers, who I always shout out. Glad to have you on. I think today is going to be a little bit of a different vibe. Usually we kind of get into like the clerical nitty gritty of like the business side of things, but we've had other podcasters on, so we kind of want to just talk about the content and a little bit of the story behind how you guys got to where you are. But obviously, since I'm very closely connected to you guys, I've seen the behind the scenes, the bloopers, the reels, and everything. I'm gonna let Kayende kind of take the reign today and ask most of the questions, and then I'll kind of jive in where I fit in. So, Kai, take it away.
So, Mr. Mikey and Mr. AU, Mikey J. So, firstly, where'd you guys get the name Couch Steelers from?
Oh my god.
It's that's probably a question you get every day of your life, but
we do, but like low key, it really did just come to be. There's a whole story behind it. We could definitely go into the story if y'all want to hear.
I want to
But
tell the story. So
I'm not gonna. Yeah, we gotta go into the story.
Yeah, our viewership is not your viewership, so yeah, like go into the.
yeah, we're here for everything, bro.
Bet. All right, so yo, Mikey, just jump in.
Tell the story.
Just jump in whenever you feel like it. That's how we riff. We always just kind of just go in and out in between each other.
You already know.
Pause. So anyway, so listen, Mikey and I, we met in college. Me and this dude. Well, I wouldn't even say it was like a two-way street because it wasn't. It was really a one-way street of Mikey disliking me for no goddamn reason. This man is a hater.
He's lying.
He's a hater and he's petty. He's a hater and he's petty. So anyways, this guy was hating on me crazy.
Lying.
And then, as time progresses, you know what I mean? We got the same friend group and we kind of get together. Then we realize we both like anime and we both like cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out all 90s kids.
Facts.
Shout out 90s kids.
I mean, the rest of our friend group, they watch it, they dabble, but like they don't go in like we do. So one day, at the time being, I was like talking to who at the time was basically like my college sweetheart. We weren't together yet, but I invited her over and I was like, I need a wingman because she bring her friend over.
I was trying to be the best wingman I could be. They tell you to be all you could be. I was trying to be the best wingman that I could be.
And you did everything you could up until a point. We're going to get to that.
Because it was the first time. It's cool now. It's legal now. It's not a problem now. It was my first time.
Anyways, I made some special brownies. I made some extra special brownies.
Shout out special brownies for sure.
Facts. Shout out
Mary
to
Jane was really in her bag that night. Just leave me alone.
shout out to Dusted Delicacies.
Big shout out.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, anyways, I made some crazy fire shit, and it was just me, her friend, and Mikey. Now, granted, I went a little OD. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I was a superstar up to this point. I was a superstar up until this point. I just need
blasted.
To know.
Blasted. Boom. Cool. That's going by. Then at one point, Mikey disappears. I'm like, I understand. I understand why this happened.
May I interject here just to talk about the reason why I did disappear and was relieved of my duty shortly thereafter. The reason why I came in with a lot of fanfare. I came in, I ain't lying on my application. I was ready to be wingman of the night. So I come in and, first time I'm a little excited, have my first, real feel of college. Okay, we're here now. And yeah, tickling God's feet is a term have heard used, and it was not something that I was prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had to leave the room, I mean, first of all, the girl got her hand stuck in a bag of chips, so that just tells me everything you need to know.
I had a family-sized bag of chips, and the wingman for, my college sweetheart, she ate the whole family bag of chips and never drank a sip of water.
Damn. That's
crazy.
Shout out beverages. Hold on.
Shout out beverages.
Shout out to dry throats that never get dry. You know what I mean?
The image. That's why that image.
I mean, those were ruffles, my boy.
So I left. I departed, and so I'm in the room, and I got really kind of excited and hungry. And the reason why I'm saying this, because I'll let you know exactly the part. This is how I know we told this story. It's how I know we told this story too many times. I know you know exactly where I need you to pick
Yep.
this story back up. So I'm sitting in my room, I'm chilling, I'm on cloud 9, 10, and 11. And so I said, all right, let me get some food. They used to have this promo code at our school. You got 50% off anytime you order from Papa John's. No, it was Domino's. Domino's, Papa John's, but that
And
night
Papa John's, but that
yeah,
night you
that
ordered
night
Domino's.
I ordered Domino's, and it was that kind of night, and I already wasn't in my right mind. So Domino's gets ordered. I spend way too much money. I spent like $40 worth of money. I'm not gonna lie.
Now,
It was like
mind
it was
you,
not good. Hold on. No. I know you know where you got to pick up. No, I'm not playing with you. You know where you got to pick up. So I'm sitting here and I get all this food and I'm sitting upstairs and I look like fat bastard on the bed because like I'm just completely surrounded by all these boxes of Dominoes and I'm sitting here so excited to get started. I take like 2 bites and all of a sudden this dude swing my door open like he's Cosmo Kramer from Seinfeld and
hell
just
no,
look at me
hell no.
and he just see literally all of this on like all of my food and him and I just look at each other, we don't say a word and we just laugh at each other. I don't say nothing to him, he don't say nothing to me, and we just laugh. And now AU, you may continue.
Nah, he's definitely leaving out parts, and I'm not gonna do him like that. I'm not even gonna do you like that. That's fine. I'm not even gonna go into details. Anyways, we laughed. I had just signed them out, and then I don't know how we got to the conversation out of laughing, but I was just like, "Yo, you want to watch some Samurai Jack?" Bro,
That's literally what it was.
this man got out of bed. It was like, yeah. So at the time, I had like a half single, so it was just me, but there wasn't enough space for like much of anything. We look at each other. We're like, the common room. We go to the fucking common room and we literally steal a couch out of the common room,
Damn.
put it in my fucking single. That couch was in the single for so long. The RA had to knock on my door at one point. It was like, can you guys please bring the couch back? The common room was missing a whole couch for about a solid week and a half. And we
No, bro,
watched
no. Don't
anime
sell it
on
short.
that
Don't
couch.
sell it short. Don't sell it short. It wasn't a week and a half.
It was like a week and a half. It was like a week and a half.
Bro, no, you forget, bro. Like the RA was literally talking to us like, guys, y'all have to bring this back. Like they're starting to know, like the people, like the hall director started realizing why is there a couch missing on the second floor? So like it started becoming a thing. That's why they were like, yo, y'all gotta put that couch back for real. Like it was
At that
cool,
point,
but
I guess
like
it was stealing. So, when we decided to do the podcast, we're thinking about the fucking name. And low key, I think we might have thought of our first episode name before we thought of the fucking name of the podcast.
oh yeah, the episode name was done. That was
Yeah, the
leave it on the
episode name
going
was
Mary.
we're like, what are we gonna name the
Yeah, no,
podcast?
that was
What's
done.
gonna be the name of our first episode? And I was like, we're leaving on the going Mary.
Yeah, no,
Which
that was
is
absolutely
like,
the first. There was no hesitation with that either. It was
and then we're
perfect.
like, all right, name. We're like, how did we get here? How did we get to this exact moment? We stole a couch back in college.
Okay, that's a beautiful origin story. That's a beautiful origin story.
It was not beautiful, but it
I was
was,
gonna say
it
Loki was the
but
start
it
of a
was
villain origin
amazing.
story, but at the same time, I was gonna say Loki started a villain origin story, but that's just how deep it got. It just got that deep. I ain't gonna hold you.
Okay. So, I mean, you kind of answered it a little bit, but what sparked an anime podcast of all things? Was it just you guys both had a deep love for anime, or it's just like fuck it, we talk about this show all the time, so let's just.
I think it was a little bit of both.
Mhm.
One, I definitely think it was like we were really much like the way that we love anime and the way that genre has and that medium, I should say, has really impacted our lives. There was just something we had to do with it. I don't know. It was like I got this hot potato. I don't know what to do with it. I can't toss it. I got to hold on to it. So like it's one of those situations where we looked at each other and said, "All right, we can do this. We have the technology."
I wouldn't even say that. I would honestly say it's just like when you do something every single day of your life, you have to realize that's a passion. And because that is a passion and you're doing this every day of your life and you're not doing anything with it at all other than just doing it, you're losing an opportunity.
That's deep.
You get what I'm saying? You are losing an opportunity. I think it was just like, let's do this because we love it for sure, but we're also just like, we talk about this every single day of our life. Why should we not just record it?
Mm-hmm.
On top of the
Mm-hmm.
fact that we're good at it, I think
That's
we're
a
pretty
fact.
good at it. Like I'm not
That's a
trying to,
fact.
I'm not gonna pump my chest and say we the best out, but like we not bad at this either.
So,
So
So
what?
so when you
What?
guys,
Oh,
so when
sorry.
you
Go ahead.
guys,
Go ahead.
yeah, so when you guys started, did you have a plan to monetize, or it was just like, hey,
Fuck
we talk
no.
about this anyway, we'll just
You speak
record
for
it
your god doggone
and then
self.
see where it goes.
We
I
didn't
said
think we would get here.
you,
We were just riffing. We were just
you,
going.
yeah, we was just going and recording, but I was like, oh no, we may have something here.
No, we
I
might
got
have
bills.
something here, but I feel like, you know what I mean? Like in the beginning, we did it because we were like, let's do it. But when we
Oh
realized
yeah,
we had
oh okay, yeah,
something,
yeah.
like that's a different combination of just like now we got a different combination of effort, and we got to like also in combination of just like we could see a future too.
Mhm.
Before in the
Yeah.
beginning, it was just like, yo, we're gonna do this because like why not?
And I think the funny thing about it when you look at how we really came to us even making the decision, we were roommates at the time. Like there was a it was a we were chilling, we were living together. It was one of those things where I walk out, he's watching one anime.
Hmm.
Next thing you know, I'm sitting down. He walks out, he's watching another anime. I'm watching one where like we One Piece nights, like that was a thing. Like, yo, bro, don't watch One Piece. I'm about to get off work. Like that was a thing.
Yeah.
So like
Yep.
That's tough.
knowing that was the level of dedication that we had, that it to his point, like yeah, we had to do something with it. Like you
I woke
just
this man up out of his sleep to watch a whole anime series, and we bodied it in like the same exact day.
I
but we
honestly
don't
wouldn't
talk
even be
about that.
mad at
We don't
that.
talk about Devilman Crybaby. We don't do that. We don't do
Oh,
that.
Devilman Crybaby was hard.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest anime I've ever watched in my entire life.
That
Yeah,
And
shit
you
it
was
was
better
definitely
hard.
hard to
and you
watch.
and you better believe your ass I ain't never watching that joint again.
Never in
That's
my
a
Nah,
one
life,
time only.
ever.
that's a one and done. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
a
never
one
gotta
and
go
done.
back to that. That joint was, and he did wake me up. I was so upset with him. He woke me up out of that. Not upset. I take it back. I wasn't upset because I'm not. I was happy because I was like, all right, whatever. He about to show me something, and I heard stuff about this. Watch one episode because you was an episode and a half ahead. Watch 1.5 episodes. Literally got to that point and said, all right, this is our day. This is we're not doing nothing else today. This is it. This is it.
That
This is
was
it.
it.
So what is it about anime that makes you guys love it so much?
Go ahead. I'll let you go because I think we probably have similar things, but I think it's different for both of us at the
Yeah,
core.
yeah. It's definitely I would say different for me. My love of anime comes from really a lot of different places. It comes from, you know, the characters, the stories, the plot, the actual action the action that you can get. Um, but I think back to when I was a kid and when I really was, I my family moved out of New York and I was playing sports and stuff, so that was like kind of an outlet. But there were only a certain amount of things that I remember the first time turning it on and being like, huh, I don't know what this is, but this make me feel good. Like it kind of like that's truly it was that almost juvenile in a way because it was like last time I had watched something that made me feel like that was the first time I watched a Power Ranger show when I was like legitimately a kid. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, watching that like okay, everything that's happening right now I'm a fan of.
Hmm.
So I think for me, it's always the way I can consistently get that feeling over and over again. I
Gotcha.
get
Mm-hmm.
that feeling every single time I'm watching
Mm.
something. Like again, we gonna talk about it tomorrow. A little sneak preview. Episode dropping on Friday. But when we're gonna talk about Attack on Titan, the finale of that, and that just happened like 2-3 days ago for me, I started watching Attack on Titan in 2013, 2012, I believe. So I'm looking at
2013.
2013. So I'm looking at 10 years, 10 years of my life. And I think back of where I was when I watched that first episode. I think about where I was when I watched those big moments. I think of where I was when we got the big reveals. And not only where I was in the moment of watching the show, but where I was in my life.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
always hit me as like a wow, like this is something that I remember moments in my life. This is a part of my life in a way that stands out. And very few things in my life stand out in that way. So it's a love, it's a passion, it's a drive that I really have. So I'm gonna be 90 years old still watching anime. So
Facts.
that's what I'm
Would
saying.
you would you say that AOT is the anime equivalent of Game of Thrones, like a long drawn out story that the conclusion? Well, Game of Thrones, if you've seen Game of Thrones, terrible ending, don't watch it. But in this case,
Don't say that. Don't say that. Still watch it. It is a terrible ending, but still watch
No, still watch it.
it.
Still
Still
watch
watch it.
it.
It's a terrible
but
ending.
yeah,
Still watch
would you say I guess that's the anime equivalent?
No, not at all.
it. I don't know if I would say it either.
Not at all.
Um,
I can 100% say that's a no because the ending of AOT, although I wasn't satisfied with it, it was still done well.
Fair enough. That's the results. I still haven't watched it yet, but that's what I've been
I
hearing.
wasn't
A-
satisfied, but I'll leave it at that.
we gonna talk about it tomorrow. Don't say that. But I'm thinking of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, to AU's point, it wasn't done well. It just wasn't. It just
Mm-mm.
felt rushed. It felt rushed. It felt bad and dark.
Well, yeah, because they got Star Wars, and they were like, oh yeah, let's hop on this, and then they end up losing Star Wars because they butched the ending. So
Yeah, so it's just
yeah.
anyway.
What about for you, AU? I don't think we heard your answer. What makes you revisit
Um,
anime over and over again?
and so I think my reasoning for watching anime consistently now at this point in time in my life, or just in like I would say just throughout my life, it's evolved for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For me, anime was an escape. Um,
Mm,
so as for Mikey, you know what I mean, he would watch anime and it would solidify moments in his life. For me, it would help me get away from moments of my life. I don't remember and this is not a sob story or anything like that. I don't remember probably a good amount of my life up until maybe like 15. Like I was moving a lot, doing a bunch of different things and stuff. So for me, anime was something I felt as though I could relate to for emotional reasons. It
mm-hmm.
felt as though there was something for me to hold on to and be able to discuss my emotions and or not maybe not discuss it, but be able to view the emotions that I had in a way that just kind of felt right. Like for example,
Right.
Naruto is not my goat, but like Naruto, obviously we all started watching at a very young age, and so
Mm-hmm.
Naruto related to me for a lot. You know, he felt outcasted. He felt like there's a lot on his shoulders. I always got into a lot of trouble, etc. But Naruto, like low key, he helped me learn how to cry as a man. Like
Mm.
you know what I mean? Like I didn't know how to do all of that, and then it kind of opened up the floodgates to just exploring other types of anime. And I definitely had like a type of anime that I would kind of watch because again, it was more escapist. But
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm not that person anymore. Obviously, I'm a grown ass man, and like I've come to terms with all the stuff that I needed to come to terms with. I can now just fully enjoy whatever it is that I want to watch. But for me, that beginning was just, again, it was escapist. I needed
Gotcha.
something to escape the life that I was kind of living. So that's how anime came to be for me, and nothing else during the time could do it in the way that anime did. I think that anime conveys emotions, and also portrays like these escapist stories for people better than most things. Personally, I'm not saying there aren't other forms of art that do it better than anime at certain times, because there are, obviously, because I'm really big into movies and just actual actors, actresses, physical people. But I think anime has a special place in my heart because of that.
Got you. Got you.
So
So for AU, so it seems like anime was like that consistent pillar. It was a beacon. It helped ground you, and it was
Yeah.
something that you could always come back to and understand. Okay, some BS may be going on over here, but I can go back to this and know that I'm not going to look at this any differently than the chaos outside my life. And then for Mikey, it was kind of like that for you. It seems like it's nostalgic in a way. Always when you watch a new anime or something that's refreshing, it's like, damn, like this is why I still watch this, because this shit is hard. It reminds me of when I first started watching it. So my next question for you guys is, I may have summarized it and you may have summarized it too, but what makes a good anime? Is shonen top one, or do you like slice of life? Like what makes an anime a good one to you
I'm
guys?
I'm gonna let you take this one first
So
because
this
I
this
got I
one
got some thoughts too.
this one is gonna be obviously all subjective. You know what I mean? But
Obviously, yeah.
um So I did theater for like 12 years of my life, and so I feel like I have a very good grasp of like script and
Mm-hmm.
storytelling. Um, and I think I kind of always fall back to that for sure when it comes to what makes something good or great, rather, relating to anything that someone wrote, directed, whatever. So I kind of take that and I still apply that to anime.
Mm-hmm.
Um, However, if I'm going to try to be, I guess, objective about it and not look at it from my previous background, what makes a great anime for me personally, and there is no top one, first and foremost, for like at least genre. It could be anything because I've seen
I can agree with
anime
that.
that I would easily just be like,
Yeah,
bruh.
but as long as you started watching other forms of anime, because when it
Yes,
wasn't just shown, yeah, once you started
yes,
watching other forms of anime, I was like, okay, we here now.
yes. If you watch one form of anime, it's hard for me to take your judgment on what you consider a great anime is.
Mhm.
That's
Because
fair.
you need to expand your horizon before you can be like, okay, this is better than that or whatever it may be.
And that
Um,
doesn't mean that you can't have Dragon Ball Z as your favorite all time anime.
I agree,
Do your thing. Do your
I think
thing.
it's a
but
Have
cop out
fun.
answer though, because it's just like, oh, everyone's seen it, and it was my first love. But as an anime, I don't love Dragon Ball Z, but it is nostalgic. I will give you that.
yes,
Yeah.
100%. And I understand what it did for anime. I understand that. We all understand that. But will I ever be like Dragon Ball Z is anywhere near like a top 25? Hell no.
Nah, you're bugging. It's a top 25.
Nah.
It's like 25, but it's a top 25.
No, I can think of 24, 25 anime that's better than Dragon Ball Z.
As far as
Um,
just better in the entirety of the story, or better just in like in the
just
in the
better overall.
place in the
Just better.
place.
Just
Just
better. Like
better.
overall. Like just better. Not like who fights better or
Hmm.
whatever, just like a better overall experience. Like whether it's
Oh,
down
I
to
could definitely no,
acting, animation,
I can
like
fight that. Yeah,
story.
top 25, I can fight that. I can fight that. Top 25,
Okay.
I can absolutely fight that.
We might that might have to be a topic we have to discuss on our
Yeah,
podcast.
no, I can fight that. I can fight
But
that. I feel confident fighting that.
I think what for me, and it kind of just goes back to the whole it's animated. You know what I mean? Everyone that watches something animated to some degree, no matter which way you look at it, you're viewing this as a way to just think differently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's kind of hard when you're looking at it when you are very into anime and you're only watching anime. So it's like, okay, what makes it great when you're only watching this? So, for example, let's say you only watch, I don't know, soap operas. What makes a great soap opera versus one that you kind of watch on a regular basis? I think what makes a great anime, okay, is not that it just has great animation, because I feel like we've really kind of toggled to that point for anime where like people are really leaning heavily on animation. But what makes a great anime for me is it just has that whole package. It has relatable characters, and this is probably like my top three for what makes a great anime: relatable characters, a fluid story, okay, and then creative world building. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need great fights. I don't need great animation. Are those augmenters? Yes, 100%. But those three things for me make a great anime, and if you can provide those in a very fluid package, then I'm good to go. I think it'll probably end up being like a great anime.
It's
See, and
very well put.
I think it's easier to determine what's a bad anime than it is to what's a good anime.
Yeah,
You can tell
yeah,
when it's a bad anime.
I agree with that.
You can tell within like the first like 45 seconds. Like, all right, this ain't for me, bro. This ain't like is that a duck with titties that walk by? Nah, bro, I don't gotta be here.
Is that a duck with
I'm
titties?
okay.
Nah,
I'm gonna check out of this.
and to your point, there's a lot of copy pasting nowadays. Like for example, like I like isekai, but isekai anime like is very copied and pasted right now for sure. And I could easily just pull up an isekai and be like, all right, nigga, I watched 10 minutes. I'm like, I know what this is about to be about.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So
And then for those at home who don't know, isekai is like they drop the main character in a video game or foreign world, and then he becomes OP or meets some OP character, and he just wreck shit.
yeah.
I woke up today as a garbage can.
Right.
I woke up.
Now I gotta level up and do shit.
Nah,
Yeah, like
reincarnated,
that's
it's a lot.
isekai.
There's some crazy one. There was one about a vending machine going around.
That's why I said the garbage can.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
it was the vending
low
machine
key.
one.
Damn. So I guess so. Your subjective or objective top fives, each one of you, Mr. Mikey and Mr.
Fuck.
AU.
And I kind of saw this question coming. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah,
I kind of saw this question coming.
You can do
we're
top
probably
three.
gonna
Top five might be
overlap
a little
here.
OD.
Nah, I
We're,
see top
we're
three harder
definitely
than
gonna
top five.
overlap here.
Yeah, five. I don't know if I can put them in. I can put
No order, just a general.
Yeah.
No, my top one is always gonna be my top one though. That's never gonna change for me
I feel
personally.
like for me that is gonna be. Yeah, I would say the same. For me, Yu Yu Hakusho. All right, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That's my top one.
One Piece.
Of course, shout out Oda.
He on some rapey shit right now, but
Whoa. Soul Eater for me. Even though Soul Eater kind of making me upset because I finally got around to reading the manga,
Mm-hmm.
and the manga is so much better, and they kind of hold Soul Eater. They got their story all twisted.
They
Kid
was like
kid
what 8 episodes or some nonsense, like
it was like the whole second half, like the whole first part of Soul Eater up until they released the Kishin is all like from the manga, and then after they released the Kishin, it was just like wee.
Oh, just
Nah.
And so like there's like a whole, I'm telling you, like Black Star and Kid aren't like, oh my gosh, Kid so much, like it's a rivalry, and it's like a legitimate rivalry, and it's really good. So, but I still put that in my top five. This is where it's like, all right, pick a day.
it gets hard.
It does get hard around here.
Pause.
I don't. AOT. Did you say false? AOT's not
Pause,
in.
nigga.
Oh,
Glizzy Gladiator over here.
yo, chill.
Glizzy McGuire.
Oh my god. I honestly, I'll say, just because it's top of mind, I'll say Code Geass. I'll say Code Geass.
Code
No
Geass
way,
is
for
It's
real?
high.
Okay, that's
It's
new.
It's high, but
That's
I'm at
calm.
top of my mind. I know it's in my top 10.
Traumatizing, but it's solid.
You've
But
never
it's, yeah.
put Code Geass in your top five, by the way. This is the first time you've ever said that.
I'm thinking, because that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of one that would edge that out. Yeah, like Bebop wouldn't be in my top five.
Shampoo?
Bebop wouldn't be, no.
No, Shampoo.
No,
Samurai
Shampoo.
Shampoo wouldn't be. Bebop's over Shampoo, but like no, Samurai Champloo wouldn't be. I wouldn't put Demon Slayer there. I wouldn't put something like Black Lagoon, even though that's I love Black Lagoon. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to just stick with Code Geass. AU probably gonna say one. I'm gonna be like, no, that one. But yeah, for right now, I'm gonna roll with Code Geass.
What about you, AU?
All right, it's gonna be tough because like it definitely kind of like goes in and out for sure. Some things just kind of come up for. There's only one constant in my top five. There's only two constants in my top five. And that is 100%. My constants are always gonna be Yu Yu Hakusho and always gonna be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is gonna be my top one forever. There's no change in that. There's no debate for me. It's a 10 out of 10.
Man says
What before you even continue? What about it makes you love it so much? Like what makes it top uno?
Ooh.
It's a great anime, by the way. I just want to hear your perspective.
No, for sure, 100%. For starters, and specifically Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, as much as I love Full Metal Alchemist OG, I think Full Metal Alchemist OG is very slept on because Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood came out and was just better.
Mm-hmm.
But Full Metal Alchemist OG, you should definitely still watch. I think they built on their characters better than Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but I digress. I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was the most complete package for an anime like story. Every single character that was in the story had some part to play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they built on the two main characters the whole entire time. You can watch their progression, you can watch their growth. You saw them fight with each other, you saw them fight with other side characters. Side characters came back into the story and became more relevant than they were when you first met them. And then not only just that, there was a mystery and a thriller kind of side behind it, where it's like you're trying to figure out, they're chasing their goal. And within their goal, there was a whole other fucking world that's happening, and none of that shit matters to these two fucking kids.
Mm.
Like,
May I
we are
interject
chasing
really
this
quick?
shit and we're not fucking stopping until that shit is fucking completed. The world could fucking end and we gotta figure this goal out. So you get the world building, you get this unrelenting like story of the two main characters while there's the whole other actual main story that's actually happening. Like, so you get these these clashing things. The and it kind of just goes back to like Ed and Al and saying they're gonna get their bodies back, and no
Mhm.
matter fucking what happens, they're gonna spear through this shit. They're cutting through all the fat, all the meat, and then because I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know who's watched it, who hasn't, so it's kind of hard to talk about it too. But I guess what makes it the most like complete package, again, storytelling, fire. You got characters that are relatable. You got characters that are constantly being built throughout the whole entire show. You get characters that are brought into the show later in the series at the end, and you're like, okay,
Done
damn,
in a better way than they did with Kaguya. Much
yes,
better way.
100, yes, 100%.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to bring a character in at the very end.
The story was very original. I love originality. I don't think you can think of a single anime that is like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood in regards to their story and how it went about it.
Yo,
And I
I
relate.
gotta say one thing though, for real. That reminded me of what my number 5 was. And you're right, it wasn't Code Geass, it's Monster. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's new too, but I understand that one more.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think I've seen Monster actually. That's like it's like
it's
psychological thriller kind of thing, right?
It
yeah,
is the
Yeah,
best
I
suspense
it's
got
a,
recommended that one a while ago. I never
It
a
watched
is
it.
the
cult
best
classic.
suspense anime I have ever watched. Better than
Hmm.
Death Note. It is the best suspense anime I've ever watched.
I gotta watch that one. I haven't seen that one. Oh yeah, so you finished your. I think you
Yeah,
mentioned you said Brotherhood. You mentioned what did you just
You.
mention?
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu
yeah.
Hakusho, and those are your staples. And then what are the other rest?
Those are
Yeah.
my staples. Now, here's the thing. So I've been low key flexing a little bit. Um,
You're
what
just so strong.
No, I've been flexing a little bit in regards to like when I think of anime um and what that means, because it for me it doesn't anymore, it doesn't just mean it's a show. So
Explain.
so when someone's like, "Oh, your top 5 anime." There are anime movies.
Okay, that is true.
Okay.
That is
So
true.
my top 5 recently, and maybe like the last like 5 months or so, has shifted. Again, I've been evolving as like someone who watches anime for like Mikey knows this. I've gotten into slice of life a little bit more. I've been
Which
trying to
has
like
also made
really,
Mikey very happy.
yes. I'm happy for you. Um,
Happy for me too.
so so I've been expanding that. So my top 5 will probably look a lot different than it did a year ago for sure. But my top 5 as of right now, we got Yu Yu, we got Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I gotta put Princess Mononoke in there as one of the greatest pieces of art I've ever seen in my entire life. I love Princess Mononoke. I think it's an amazing movie. Shout out Studio Ghibli because they're the fucking goat.
Hey, Boy and the
Um,
Heron about to drop. I can't wait.
Oh my god,
Boy
we
and the
gotta go
Heron,
see
new
that. By
Studio
the way,
Ghibli movie coming
we
out in
have
December.
to
I
go
can't
see
wait.
that. There's
Can't
no
wait.
f ands or buts about it. I'm gonna put One Piece in there, and low key, I think there are better animes than One Piece, but because One Piece is the longest
Of the same
fucking
grandeur,
anime,
though, like the same, because One Piece is like that's a magnum opus. That's an epic. So
yes,
anime that are better in general, or anime of the same like
but there's
grandeur.
nothing else the same. You can't even compare any other anime to One Piece anymore. It's been going the longest. It's consistently getting better still.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
it's still
it's
going
like
and
it's so
still getting
exponential,
better.
bro. It's so exponential.
Like, we can't even say what the end of One Piece looks like because we don't even know. There's still so many things that need to be filled for anime. I mean, not anime, for One Piece. So it's kind of hard to just be like, oh, you know what I mean? To compare it
Hmm.
to something else. Nothing else has gone as long as anime. Oh, as One Piece. So, and I feel like it's in its own category, and off of that strength alone, it has to go in my top 5.
Yeah.
Are the characters completely lovable? Yes, 100%. Yes, 100%. Is the story still going? Is it amazing? Yes, 100%. Is the animation and the fighting getting better every single episode?
But
Yes.
that's budget and time. That's budget and time because they are now able to use better
Oh,
technology
okay,
than they
but
did
he
in
still
1999.
he Oda still kept us in for
Title
all
still would
this
have looked.
time to get to a point where he could get the budget behind it. For example, Bleach, we didn't get any of that. We're getting the budget now for Bleach in regards to like, oh, these fight scenes are crazy. Oh, the animation is dope. Like, we're getting that now. But Bleach ended before Naruto and One Piece. Obviously, One Piece is still going. So Bleach ended on a note where it was like, animation was like, compared to what we're looking at now.
Compared to what we're looking at now, absolutely.
There are trash anime out right now that has better animation than Bleach did. Ever did.
Yeah, but I think that's the time. We talked about that's the time.
I
Yeah, we're in
agree.
like the golden era.
Yeah.
I agree, but all I mean is that One Piece was able to continue through everything and get to this point. So you have to credit that. One Piece could have fell off. One Piece could have fell off.
Definitely could
What I was
have.
about to say, you're talking specifically to the fact that One Piece has been able to LL Cool J this and just change with the times. They've been able to keep going as the decades continue on and continue to have that longevity.
Mm-hmm. And then for me personally, Samurai Champloo. And that is strictly because Samurai Champloo not only was just a great watch for anime, Samurai Champloo also created its own genre. And Samurai Champloo also changed hip hop.
That is a fact.
Nujabes created a whole entire art form of music, hip hop and Japanese sound, and that got put into an anime, and it just revolutionized a lot of things. Lo-fi is because of Nujabes. R.I.P.
That's why you got lo-fi.
That's why we have lo-fi. So that is just a revolutionary, like, whole entire. It's Samurai Champloo felt like an experience.
Yes, definitely.
So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. My next question is
I was a little winded on that one.
No, it was perfect. It was perfect. Love the content. So I guess this is more of a philosophical question for you guys now. What has been the biggest takeaway you've gotten from anime? So whether it be something you learned from a character or a saying or a quote, has there been something that you've seen in an anime that you've wanted to model in your actual day-to-day life?
Yo, I got this one. I can take this one. The funny thing is, the answer to at least for me, the answer to the question is yes. And like, there's so many different things that you can take out of every single watch is something new. Every single watch is something different. You're gonna get, I never thought I'd experience something like Boji in Ranking of Kings. I never thought I would like get the emotional connection I got with Promised Neverland season 1, because we don't talk about Promised Neverland season 2. But like, it's a matter of every single experience, every single time I'm watching, it's a different storyline. It's a different, it's like they say, when you open a good book, you read a different genre, you get into new adventures. It's the same. It's a very similar feeling from when I'm reading a great novel, and then I switch over to another genre, and I'm still, I've gotten hyped in a way watching a sports anime or watching a love romance anime that I have watching Goku Go Super Saiyan 3, that I had watching Naruto Return Back to, well, maybe not Naruto Return Back to the Village, because that's the greatest one that ever was. But just, it's always a different experience. So there's never one thing I pull out. I'm pulling everything out. I'm pulling so many different life lessons, experiences. I'm pulling out so many different, just adventure. Like, hey, I want to try that. That looks cool. Like, when you watch into AU's point, like a Studio Ghibli film, you watch a Studio Ghibli film, the food looks immaculate in that. Next thing you know, you're like, yo, I want to go, I want to go cook. I want to go learn how to do this. That's just something that you can pull out from just one experience. Like, it's so important to know that I can't just hone in on one thing and that's all I'm taking out. Like, I'm getting all that I need from everything that I'm watching on it.
I see what you're saying. So like you kind of you take the good from everything you appreciate, and then you just make one big gumbo of life lessons.
The good, the
I'm
bad, the
about to make
ugly,
some gumbo,
everything in
so don't even
between.
talk about gumbo right now, because I will be having. Because I made some etouffee like 2.5 weeks ago, came out fire, and I was like, nah, I gotta make gumbo. Damn, sorry, sidebar.
Over here
Hey, you
flexing.
like to cook?
Over here flexing. But nah, it's
anime cooking segment coming to the couch.
I got. Hold on.
Ooh.
Gonna write that down. Just thank you, Pablo.
You know, I'm full of ideas.
Everything that gets said here is, able to be used. We ain't got no
Yeah, no,
copyright.
yeah. Use copyright. Just cut me my 20%. We're okay.
Nah, because that's actually a lot of content that we can get from that. But like I said, every single time I sit down, watch something new, something old, and I was talking to AU about this a couple of episodes ago.
It's already done. It's already in the works. I
Oh,
already got
good
a whole
Lord.
plan.
Yo, ain't got the cookbook. Nah, it's for real.
I
Like
got a whole plan already. Don't
we,
even worry.
I didn't even know that I could use a gift, bro. I got holidays coming up. Just gift if you want to give me something. That's a nice
Yakitori.
little gift. I am just saying.
The fuck? I'm not giving you this. I need this.
You could be the taste tester. I think that'd be fun.
Facts.
Yeah, no, that's
Or
and
have
that
them on
yeah, that's
the
cool.
have it on the reaction videos.
Yeah.
So I got
And
I
then
got I got a plan for this for the segment for the Couch Steelers. I just got to start putting these recording and whatnot. I got a bunch of equipment I need already
Oh,
for it. But
gotcha.
yeah.
And then, AU, what about you? What have been your biggest philosophical takeaways from anime?
Um. So I think Mikey gave definitely the most philosophical fucking answer for it. If I'm,
Mm-hmm. Same
but
thing, where you just take the good from all the good
no,
stuff you
no, not
watch.
at all. I'm
Okay.
I'm I'm gonna give you something a little more concrete. I think
oh,
I think that stop it.
I'm messing with you.
I think I think the biggest philosophical maybe takeaway, and I won't even say it's philosophical, but just a very straightforward takeaway that I've gotten from almost every anime is there is a sense of relentlessness to live your life.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
Whatever
in,
that
in in
is,
in every anime, I think that's
mm-hmm,
yeah,
no
that's a
matter
good
what,
point.
there's a sense of like live your life to the best possible way that you possibly can. No matter which way that is, live your life to like because if you think about it, almost every character you could probably think of, they're an extreme version of what a normal person would be.
That's it for all the isekais too. Like most, like for reincarnated as a slime, and then Overlord. The main characters come into the other and the new world, and they're like, "Wait, my old life was so rigid and
Mm-hmm.
boring and had nothing going on. Let
And
me just
look at
make
all
sure
this
I
new.
don't do that again."
Yeah.
And look at all this new like that I get to experience, you know? So
Yeah.
I feel like there's a relentlessness to just really pursue life through anime. And like now where I am too, like I said, anime has evolved for me in so many different ways. Before it was an escape kind of thing, and now I think it's more of a reminder.
Hmm.
Anime feels more like a reminder for me. You know what I mean? Like, don't stop. There's other things to explore. There's more life. There's whatever it may be. Like these things are constant reminders. These different anime that I watch are constant reminders of there's a whole world out there to live, new people, experiences, etc. And go live it, whatever that means.
Got you. And I'm gonna ask you guys one more question, but I'm gonna ask Pablo a question too. I'm gonna ask you that same question, Pablo. What's your biggest takeaway from anime? Like, what philosophical concepts do you apply to your life from what you've watched so far? You can reference your
Yeah.
top five if you have to.
So I would say for me, definitely the shonen anime. So Luffy and Naruto, for example, that like unyielding will to just continue,
Mm-mm.
even if they're getting beaten up and they look like hamburger meat, you know, and
That's
and their
crazy.
and their and their love for their friends too, of like, hey, I want to be king of the pirates, I want to be the best, Hokage ever, but I can't do this alone. Like you guys need
Hmm.
to come along and fulfill
Manakama.
your roles, but also
Hmm.
I'm gonna help you in your own hero's journey as well to get to where you want to be. So I'd say yeah, the unyielding will and friends are everything. You're nothing without
Friends,
friends.
everything like the camaraderie.
Facts.
That probably be for me. Like camaraderie is such an important thing for me in animes I like to watch.
Yeah,
Mikey.
and,
Mikey
and,
knows
and
one
you
of
know,
my all time sayings about friends.
Oh, what?
I'm,
They gonna No, you gonna no, you gonna go ahead, do your thing.
listen. Friends are the family you choose. And the reason why is because they're gonna be there before somebody, they're gonna be there after them.
mhm.
Like I've been through a lot of shit. Mike's been through a lot of shit. We all been through a lot of shit. But at the end of the day, when it's time to fall back on something, even if your family's not around, you fall back on your friends.
That's a fact.
Of
It's a big
course.
fact.
And
And
Kai,
then I guess,
what's your philosophical takeaways?
yeah, I would say the camaraderie because my favorite anime is One Piece, and
Mm-hmm.
like
Ooh, okay.
I
My man,
think
my man.
the very except I was never a big manga reader either or manga, and then I started reading manga because they were just taking so long to drop the episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and then but
That's
even before I
understandable.
started reading, like One Piece was like one of the only animes that like brought me to tears like ever in
Mm.
my life. It's just like the most recent instance was when Jinbei joined the crew. I'm spoiling shit for people, but I
Really?
don't care.
I
Jinbei
Nah,
feel
joined
it
the
you.
was
crew?
just
Okay,
it was
okay.
You
I don't
ain't
know. I was
Great
no,
moment.
that's a moment.
Great
That's a
moment.
moment.
Great
That's a
moment.
moment.
Great
That's a
moment.
moment.
I was reading that shit and I was just like, because I forgot the specifics of it, but I think they were getting like washed or some shit. Like they were like
Yeah,
they're
no,
about
they
to get
were.
fucked. They're about to get fucked up.
Yeah, no, they
Oh,
were.
they were
Oh, yeah,
running for
they
their
were.
life. They were
Yeah.
they're,
running for
they're,
their life,
they're,
and Jinbei brought the whole entire crew and said, "We got to go get my boys up out of here from Big Mom."
Oh yeah, no,
that
Big
shit,
Mom.
and then Jim, and then Luffy is such a slow human being sometimes. Like when he the word I'm looking for is when he just expresses his emotion for something, like it's so earnest because like he's his last two brain cells are battling when he's not in battle, so it's like
If, if
I
I
just
if I may, I gotta defend my boy right now. Hold on, I gotta defend my boy Luffy because Luffy's in my
Two
top
brain
five
cells is
anime
wild.
characters.
Two brain cells is
I
wild. I'm
think
not gonna
I
lie.
think Luffy just lives in the moment. And in battle, he does the same, but he's obviously a battle genius.
mhm.
Um, I think Luffy just lives in the moment. I don't think Luffy's dumb. I just think Luffy does not live outside of what's in front of him.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that's fair.
that's very
Because
fair.
if
That's very
because if
fair.
he was dumb, he wouldn't win the fights he wins.
I mean, the only
He has to think about the things he needs to do in battle in order to win.
But that just that but okay, so
Gear
dumb
second is
that dumb
genius.
dumb isn't the word. It's probably I think it's just like
A
like a
little
Naya vet.
maybe like or
He's a
just
simpleton.
Not
yeah,
well, the thing
just
is 'cause, like it's
unaware of other things.
because his whole thing is like he's
Missing a little.
creative and like he's definitely a creative genius for reasons that we probably know. I'm not going to spoil this part for people, but like without that overthinking ability,
Yeah,
like a
overusing.
Nami like a Nami, a Chopper, an Usopp, they'll overthink. But that's
Every
why you
little
have
thing.
Luffy as a head because it's just like, what do I call this move? Okay, this is let's call it Gum Gum Water Balloon because now I'm now a water balloon. Just
it's
like
so it's super literal. And one thing that I'll say, because I remember getting back into One Piece, and like it's always a journey when you go down the One Piece road. Uh,
hmm
but AU had gone a little bit ahead of me, and the first thing he said, he was like, "You know what my thing is when it comes to Luffy? Luffy's just mad carefree." And as soon as I
hmm
was like, "Okay, there's a level of carefreeness that I can now view that not only the story but the world through his eyes because he's just being Luffy." One of
hmm
my favorite moments is when they get to like Tawano, and yes, excuse the spoiler, but when they get to Wano and he sees Zoro for the first time, they were like on like a giant like Thomas like cat thing riding over to the Flower Kingdom, and all of a sudden he just look over, he's like, "Oh snap, Zoro, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go say hi to my friend," and it was
hmm
That
just
was a
such a
Studio
moment.
Ghibli reference if you ask me personally, but I'll leave it there.
But it was just like, hey, like I'm in the moment. I'm very carefree. We're in this. We're like behind enemy lines. Like like Kaido's over there. This is really like an important moment. We got to go this way. But wait, oh, there's my friend. Hold on, I'm gonna go say hi
right.
to my friend real quick. There's just and it was something that you see the carefree attitude that he has towards life and towards his goal, because it's just he's loving the journey. He's loving the ride. He's loving the adventure.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And then this will be my last question, maybe a 2 or 3 part question, both you guys. Um, so first part, how long have you guys been watching anime? Has it been a whole life thing? It sounds like it's been a whole life thing. 2, how are you guys perceived from your peers during your early or formative years watching anime? And 3, how is that perception, good or bad, changed as you've grown and now you have the podcast?
Oh, that's a good one. We just talked about this not that long ago.
Yeah,
I
I was gonna
feel
say,
like
can we go? Let's go 1-1-1 because I wanna
yeah.
I wanna make sure I
Let's
don't
go
lose. I
one
wanna make
one
sure I
one
don't
for sure.
lose my thought. So the first part of the question, one more time.
So
How
how
long?
long have you been watching anime? It sounds like it's been your whole
Yeah,
life, right?
I've been watching anime since I was about 8, 9 years old. I actually remember the moment where it was. I was down visiting family down in Mississippi, and this woman my uncle was dating at the time had an older son. He was like 14, and he was like, "Hey, yo, watch out, y'all! I'm about to sit down and watch Dragon Ball Z." And I remember me and my brother like, "What is Dragon Ball Z?" And like he turned around like something out of a cartoon. He's like, "What?" And immediately put us on, and that's how we started watching. So like from that point until I'm 31 years old now, so I've been watching anime. Was that like
Got you.
20
And the
something
second
years?
part of the question was, how were you guys perceived by your peers during your formative years watching anime, from I guess
Middle
inception up until
schoolish.
like
Yeah.
college even?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me answer the first one just so
Yeah,
we
I
can
said, go ahead,
both like.
AU.
Um, so for me, whole life, obviously, I remember when I first got introduced to anime, and that was actually it was Dragon Ball Z, and it
Hmm.
was So just to show some age here, I got introduced to DBZ through Sci-Fi. Dragon Ball Z was on Sci-Fi at one point in time.
Mm.
Yeah, we
Long
definitely
time ago.
showing our age. We showing our age with that.
I think it started airing on Sci-Fi 1996. And I got introduced by like my godmother's boyfriend at the time. His name was Jeep. And he put me on the anime at that point in
Jeep.
time, and I didn't even know. Yeah, his nickname was Jeep. His nickname was Jeep.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I didn't know that was anime at the time. It was just more like, for example, we didn't know Pokemon was anime at the time.
That's
It was
true.
just
That's true.
Pokemon.
It's just a cartoon.
It was just a cartoon. We didn't really think about it in what we were watching. Same thing with Sailor Moon. You know what I mean? Like we didn't think of Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon as anime. That was just a cartoon. So whole life venture at this point in time.
Got you. Yeah, and the second part of the question: how are you guys perceived during your formative years watching anime? Were you guys like fuck you nerds? Why are you guys watching anime? Or was this like you had
Oh,
a whole clique of people that watched anime? You just
I'll
circumvented all that nonsense.
I'll go first because it'll be shorter than Mikey's
Yeah,
for sure. Me, I didn't go through none of that shit because
Hmm.
I fought a lot. So you like if you had something to say, we was gonna fight about it.
Hmm.
So my reputation was a little different. Like middle schools when I was really watching a lot of anime and I was playing a lot of games more than other kids and whatnot, but nobody was gonna say shit to me because I was gonna fight.
Right.
But doing wrong, I was like, I have my friends and stuff, so it didn't really matter. But I never really went through like the whole like you're a nerd and all this other shit for anime, like or cartoons or anything like that. I openly told everybody what I was into. I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I was playing Beyblade, and then guess what? I was still slap boxing in the bathroom. So it didn't matter.
Hmm.
Um like that was just it. That was just my life. You get what I'm saying? Like it didn't matter. So my story is
Gotcha.
a little different. Like I don't have like any
yeah.
hard times of what it meant to be like a nerd or something like that. I've been a nerd my whole life. That's not gonna change.
I think
What about
on
you,
my
Maggie?
side, no, I was gonna say I think on my side it's been, and you brought it up like it is. It's a little different because like I did catch a little bit of flack for that. Like back when I was a kid, I was an athlete growing up, so that was like the only thing I kind of had like an in on. But I didn't go to school in the same town that I lived in, so like all the people that knew I was a really good athlete lived in my town. I didn't go to school with them, and so like when I would go to like my other school, it was like like in the town over, it was like, all right, so you don't really listen to music like that because I wasn't, and it was like, all right, so then like you're not really getting girls like that because that was what we was concerned about in third and fourth grade, um, and so it was like always
Did
like
you
a
say
little.
fourth grade? You a
Yo,
horny
listen,
nigga, bro.
listen. It was a fun time. It was
Bro.
a fun time. Um, and so no, but it was so I caught a little bit of flack for it, and not for like the big stuff. So like everyone played Pokemon, everyone played Yu-Gi-Oh. So I didn't catch it for that kind of stuff. I caught it for like Tenchi Muyo. I caught it for like Metabots. I caught it for
Metabots was fire.
Metabots
Monster.
was fire.
I caught it for like Monster Ranchers. Like I caught it for stuff like that, where I'm like coming in, I'm just like, yo, like, did you just see like what's it called, Mega Man NT Warrior yesterday? And it was like, did you just say Mega Man NT Warrior, bro? Like what? Like I caught some of that. I definitely caught some of that.
Hmm. Hmm.
But coming to and I guess I'm jumping right into question 3, I think.
Yes, which is
But
perfect.
yeah, going to like conventions and so like I went to conventions for the first time in my life this year. I went to 2 conventions. Pablo and I went to actually both of them. When I think about it, but it was an experience to see people that not only live through this like same kind of life when it comes to loving this medium, and loving this art form, but like actually like meeting of the mind, sitting down, getting a chance to talk to people, getting a chance to interact with people, getting a chance to like someone saying a joke in a comment and you understanding it because you all are in the same thing. That, you know, when I was in third and fourth grade, I didn't think anybody else liked this. It wasn't until I got to high school where I said, "Oh snap, somebody actually like, y'all watching Naruto? Hold up, y'all watching this?"
Yeah.
Like, and so it once it became a place that was, I guess, safe in this sense. Um,
I feel like it
it was
became
something that
safe
was new.
recently. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe
Yeah,
like
Yeah, I
no,
what
think
it
it's,
has.
in
it's
like
been
the
super
But
past
that's
recent.
what I'm
in like the
saying.
past 7 years, it became safe.
Yeah, but it is now. It's safe now, and that's never like, I'm gonna say never, but like I still remember being in high school, and even though there were certain anime that I did watch, it wasn't like it was like on a hush hush. It would be like, oh snap, I think Toonami's on. Let me see what it. Okay, Toonami's got. All right, I'll watch this for 5 minutes. And I gotta like, let me not make sure anybody thinking I'm watching anime or something. So it wasn't so much of a like fear of getting like made fun of or anything like that. It was just like it was annoying to have to deal with. That's just the
Hmm.
fact. Like it was just like it's like looking back on it like as an adult, it's like, bro, this is annoying. This is like, let me like what I like. So it took me a little longer than I wish it had to get to that point. But you know, once I didn't have to deal with that, once I went to these, like I said, meeting people on anime Twitter, meeting people on cons, like, and seeing that it's not just me, everyone had a similar experience or some kind of experience. And you know, one day I remember we was at BlurCon in Virginia, and some dude literally was like, "Yo, where was y'all when I was growing up? You see all these beautiful black nerds, where were y'all when I was growing up?" And it was like, I feel you, bro, like for real, like where were y'all? But we were all just waiting to get to each other. That's all it was. So
Yeah,
it's been a real fun ride.
definitely. All right, well, that's it for my questions. Thank you guys for bearing with me and giving me definitely well fleshed out answers, and it definitely gave me little peer into your guys' mind and different perspectives on anime, because you guys are definitely more versed in that world than I am, which I am very grateful for.
Oh well,
I
you
mean,
know what it is,
if
sir?
your favorite if your favorite anime is One Piece, you gotta have some type of background because like that's a long journey, my
Yeah,
boy.
you don't start with One Piece. Like One
Nah,
Piece.
nah. Well, the thing was, like, my anime career, my lifetime anime career started. I think it started with either One Piece or DBZ, because I grew up in Antigua, and
Mhm.
we didn't have cable for the entire week until Saturday
Love
morning at
Antigua,
like.
by the way.
Thank you. Shout out Antigua, shout out Antigua. So we have to wake up at like odd hours in the morning, like between like 3 and 5 a.m.
Mhm.
to watch like three cartoons, and that was it for the week. And then it was DBZ, it was Tom and Jerry, and maybe one more episode of Tom and Jerry, and then we just get the regular ABS news all day. So that's my start. But then One Piece came out, and
Yeah.
yeah, I catch that out, and yeah,
I'm surprised
I'm
you got One Piece
digressing.
in Antigua if they were giving you fucking Tom and Jerry.
No, because the thing was, we got some of our television feed from Puerto Rico.
Got
So
you.
we get like we get some
Yeah.
residual television shows that would come in every now and again.
Got you.
Yeah. Any
Look,
questions, Pablo? I know we already at 57 minutes.
Nah, I was gonna say I think to wrap it up, we'll definitely have a part two because you guys are great guests because you guys extrapolate. We've had some guests where it's just like, yeah, true, one one word answers, and we're like,
Like, yeah, bro. Like that was
bro,
crazy.
you
Word.
gonna throw these niggas to the bus on the bus?
Like,
It's
word, bro.
crazy.
they're not gonna know
That's
who
facts,
they're not
bro.
gonna know who they are. But I say to wrap it up, because Mikey kind of touched upon it a little bit. Tell us about your first, I guess your first major con, which would be DreamCon. I was there as well. Like,
Mhm.
how was that experience? Was it surreal? Like having people see you and like recognize you and be like, "Yo, I listened to your podcast."
That shit
And
was
then and
crazy.
then and then yeah, I guess like pros and cons. What was hyped and what was overhyped, or what was
Um,
hyped enough and what was overhyped.
yeah, no, and AU's right. It was really cool.
It
Like that
was
was
it was
it was cool.
nuts, is
It
what it
was
was
cool.
for me.
Um, yeah, so that was the first time we had someone recognize us for a podcast, recognize us for listening. We've gotten a real solid followership on our social media. Shout out, you can follow us on Couch Dealers all across. Um, but a couple people have listened to our stuff, liked our stuff. We got 3,400 followers on IG, so it's been a fun ride. And getting someone to say, "Hey, I like it," was because AU was wearing our new our shirt design. Shout out to VLG Studio, and And the person literally was like, "Yo, that's fire." And he was like, "Yeah, this is the podcast and everything." And then I think he like took the screenshot and then look, and he thought about it. He was like, "Wait a second, hold on. Yeah, I followed, bro. I love y'all." He's like, "Hold on, I was listening to y'all the other day. Like, hold on, I didn't even." And it was just one of those
And that was
moments
when we
where,
were waiting in line to get our fucking passes to get
yeah,
into
like
Throhgout.
it was one of those moments. We took a picture with dude. It was a lot of fun, and like he shot us. He was like, "Yo, I'm at the Couch Steelers," and it was like one of those things where like we do this for the love of it. We do it because it's fun. We do it because we're good at it. But like I never thought about it as like other people enjoying, like experiencing anime through our eyes. Like
Yeah.
it was such a cool way to see, people listening to us aren't just listening to us because like, yeah, maybe sometimes they listen to us because we wilding out, but also they listen to us because our perspective, our ideas, our thoughts on this genre, on this medium that we all love. It like they appreciate that and they like to listen to it. So I was just like, oh, all right, this is really fun. So that was definitely a high point. I met some really great content creators that I personally look up to on the way that they've done things, and I enjoy watching their stuff. So that was great to get a chance to get some elbow room get some FaceTime with them, and just like I said, meeting people that have been a part of this community. Like we've kind of cannonballed our way into the anime community, especially anime Twitter community, and actually meeting people and not just saying like, "Yo, you're not just a profile picture. Hold up, this is kind of chill. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
How you?"
Yeah.
Like that was really dope. And so meeting people, making some real tight bonds. That it's been a fun year. It's been a fun year in the anime house. Like shout out RDC World. I didn't even mean to do that, but it's been fun in the Mikey J anime house. I'm gonna say that.
I don't have much to augment on that. I just think for me, I think it really kind of solidified that we have something. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need a moment in life where it's just like, why am I doing this? Other
And
than
now
just
it is.
like the love, we love to do it. Obviously, that's why we're here. But
Mhm.
we obviously have invested and put a lot of time into this. So those moments that he was speaking on, kind of really just solidified. Was just like, all right, at least for right now, I'm exactly where I need to be regarding
Right.
regarding this.
So
And
it was a
I'm
it was a confirmation.
it was a
Confirmation to me.
confirmation,
Yeah.
man. It was a
Great
confirmation,
confirmation.
and like, I feel like people don't typically get too many confirmations in their life when it comes to certain things. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
a lot of times, you got to just ride on that hill by yourself a little bit,
Yeah, definitely.
and just kind of ride it out until you get to wherever you got to. But to have other people just be like, "Yeah, man, you got it." That was like, I
I
wouldn't
think
say I wouldn't say it was a relief, but again, it was surreal, man. It was like this is
especially
real.
when
This is real life. Like this is
yeah.
actually happening.
Mhm.
And
Kind of crazy.
especially with creative stuff too, like stuff against the norm.
Mhm.
Confirmation from like regular workplace stuff is just like, oh, thank you, boss. But
Yeah,
for something you built from the mud, from the ground up, someone confirming that is just like, damn, like you really like this. Thank you. I guess I like it more now too. Yeah. So
I also think it's something where it's like, when you see someone, and kind of to your point, doing something that either they're supposed to do or they do every day, or something that they're good at, but it's like a physical thing. Like you could see somebody be good at something. You could see someone, dribble a basketball, or you could see someone have some type of physical gift. But like when we do something like this, and we do the podcast, and we're putting our all into it, and we're having our fun and making our jokes and giving our commentary, people sit back and, like I said, they enjoy that. They look at it and they say it and they see it and they're just like, "Yo, this is good. Y'all, what y'all do and what y'all bring to the table, I like this and I want more." And that's, what more can you ask for somebody that's doing this and enjoys doing it
it's
and
like
loves
when
it?
you cook somebody food, man. When you cook somebody food and they tell you they love that shit,
Yeah, there's no
it's
You
one
better
of the
about to,
feeling.
best
you about to,
feelings.
you about to cook some
Yeah.
food? You about to cook some food? Nah.
I already made chili, bro. That shit about to slap too.
Yeah.
What how many episodes you guys at right now?
Yikes.
Yeah, episode. That's a very so it's funny because we've
We
had
had a
or we
pod before.
we had the first original and if you can find the first original Couch Stealer episodes
You can't. I
from
looked it up
prior
already. You can't find it anymore.
from before, if you got it, that means you downloaded before 2020, for the pandemic. We had
Yep.
a Couch Stealer um pod, and I think we did that one for like 11 or 12 episodes. currently for our
No, it
Um,
was more than that. We
we
had
are
for the
yeah,
Counselors original, we had a
current
total of
iteration,
current
iteration.
iteration
Okay.
48.
current iteration is 48 episodes.
Yep,
All right,
episode
48
49 will be
episodes,
coming out
and you
this
guys
week.
started October last year, right?
Yep, yep.
So yeah, you just
We
passed.
actually got a. We're gonna be working on some things for our 1 year anniversary. So we got some stuff coming
All
out.
right, so you just passed the year mark, and yeah, on like IG you got like 3K, Twitter you got like 600. I mean, if you got people recognizing you at cons, so I guess for on the more business side of things, anyone who's starting a podcast or any creative endeavor, use this as like a signal for yourself that in less than a year you can gain notoriety. But I'd say definitely stick to something you're passionate about. Don't just get into it for the money. They live and breathe anime, so it's different for them. It's what they do anyway. Um, and then I guess to wrap it up, any shout outs, anybody you'd like to, thank or, just be grateful for, Masashi Kishimoto, Oda,
Mama, I love you.
What
Pop.
holding it down. One shout out I definitely got to give, and I think I did it before. Shout out to the VLG studio. Shout out Black Kensai,
Facts,
our
facts,
production
facts,
company that we
facts.
work with. Dude that we go way back with. So we was at a DreamCon together. Like I said, he does our animation. So when you go on our social media, our YouTube, our IG, and you see our animations, our us sitting on the couch chilling, like that's all the VLG studio. So shout them out. They did our logo. They're doing our merchandise, like all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
big shout out there.
When I think
Shout out
Counselors, I
VLG.
think VLG. It's almost synonymous at this point, and that was gonna be my shout out too. So yeah, VLG man, boy does good work.
All right, solid. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We're definitely gonna have you back. We'll dive more into the actual like podcast and the business side of it and content creation. The ups to downs.
Mhm.
Things like that. But appreciate you coming on. It's kind of, I guess it's sort of late now, but not really because of daylight savings.
One more
But
thing, mind if we
Wait, I
yeah,
plug?
thought Daylight Savings died.
Yo,
nah,
nah,
nah.
no.
They just turned the clocks
What
back.
time? Hey, you. What time is it for you right now?
Bro, I don't know.
Look at yeah, it's
He over here. He over here. Clock all his clocks are not in the spot, not turned back.
Bro, I got classwork I got to do right after this. So for
So
me, like, I don't know what time it is for nothing.
I'm just
Like,
going. I just wanted to plug real quick. As always, appreciate y'all for having us on here. That's first and foremost. So appreciate you y'all. Shout out to y'all. And yeah, as always, make sure you follow us on Twitter, on IG, on TikTok, all at the Couch Stealers. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Shout out again to the VLG studio and all the work that we do. Our skits are funny, our videos are funny, our shorts are funny, all from that. So definitely subscribe to us on YouTube. We drop episodes every Friday. We did call the Couch Stealer Friday, and just always remember very one thing when it comes to us: we always got room. Oh yeah, no, back to you in the studio, Pablo.
yeah,
Oh,
you're
copy.
gonna
No,
have to edit
I thought
that,
you were gonna
boy.
finish. I thought you were gonna finish. I didn't hear there's room on the couch part, but all right, yeah, no, that's everything from the Culture Connectors. Pablo signing out, Kayende signing out, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.